Hey everybody, you got Penguin here. What? Is that you or me? I don't know. Hey everybody, you got Penguin here.
Oh, you have the thing up.
Hey, well, hang on. What? We're so professional here.
There comes the sky. Do-do-do-do-do.
I don't know. Let me do this. Hey everybody. There we go. All right, everybody. You got Penguin here, along with my sidekick Sigma, Mr. Music Extraordinaire. And we're here at Totem Pole. We are on episode 8, which is a live stream. We're going to try to go live stream once a month, and this will be our live stream for the month. And you have Sigma over there with his kitty cat ears. And everything's looking good, so...
I just realized that.
What did you just realize?
I forgot to shave, and now it's bothering me. That's fine.
Oh, well, I don't think people are going to be concerned about your facial etiquette because, you know, I got all this scraggly.
Well, you know I usually don't like keeping it long.
I know, and I need to shave too. We'll figure out. You have Mina's over here getting the scraps that Skelly didn't get from his Treatios.
Yep.
All right, so not a whole lot going on. We're going to talk about a few things. If you're here in the chat, don't be afraid to ask a question or two. Man, we'll talk about it. First thing I want to talk about is Joe Biden in his presidential address, State of the Union address. And, you know, this is my take on it. It was supposed to be State of the Union, so he was supposed to talk about the United States, but I think he spoke more about foreign diplomacy and things of that nature. That's just how I saw it, but I may be wrong.
To me, State of the Union is like, yeah, you talk about the U.S., but you also talk about things relating to U.S., even if it's foreign diplomacy. That's just what I think.
Maybe. I mean, I might give him that. But, you know, unlike any other president who's given their State of the Union address, they do it, you know, a couple of times, usually like once a year maybe. But I've never seen a president bring up the previous president or his predecessor as often as he did. 12 times, 12 times he brought up Trump. Didn't call him by name, but said, the former president, my predecessor.
I mean, but if you think about it, Trump probably would have done something to bring up the Democrats instead of being...
Well, yes and no. I mean, when he gave his addresses, he never brought up Obama or the former administration. Well, he did, but not in the text that Biden was. He was blaming everything on Trump. Everything wrong in his presidency, he was blaming on Trump. You know, listen to me. You've been in it for 3 years now. There's got to come a time when you can't blame it on the previous administration.
For the first year or so, sure. Blame it on...
I don't even think that. Let me tell you something. When I used to manage Dunkin' Donuts, okay, when I got the first store I had in Old Town, and something happened, I tried to blame it on the manager before me. That didn't go over very well at all, okay? I mean, it didn't go over well at all. I was told, this is your store now. You make it your store. If there was any problems left over from the previous manager, you fix it. I mean, but that's what it is. But everything Biden, you know, everything he's done, everything, his accolades that he's given to himself were things that he screwed up when he took over office, and then he helped get better. So if you fix your own mistakes, is that a good thing? I mean, how does that work?
I mean, if you fix your own mistakes, I still see it a good thing because you realize, shit, I made a mistake, I fix it, but, you know, I'm not. But
you can't use that as one of your accolades or one of the things that you've accomplished.
Exactly.
You can't say, hey, I accomplished this. You know, hey, of course, no, he says this. He says that, where's it at here? Well, I'll get to it. But, okay, I'm going to talk about him in Ukraine, okay? He said we need to help Ukraine. He wants to provide weapons for Ukraine, but no American soldiers on the. He said this: no American soldiers on the ground. He didn't say that he may not use American soldiers for airstrikes and stuff like that.
See, I think, and this is just me, I think if anything American happens between those two countries, it's going to be nuclear war because Putin, depends on how well.
Now, hang on, you said those two countries, you're talking about the United States and Russia?
No, Ukraine and Russia. Because I remember Putin saying, if any outside country comes in to help Ukraine, it's going to be nuclear war. Now, whether you believe his threats or not, that's a different story.
Well, you got to really put that in context. Hopefully the man is smart enough to know that if it comes to nuclear war, it's the end of the world. Nobody's safe from it. Okay, if he attacks the United States, if he attacks Ukraine, the nuclear fallout's going to spread throughout the world. I mean,
if he was smart enough, he attacked Ukraine. I don't think he's that smart.
Well, maybe not. I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, he had let's see, Finland joined NATO.
Finally,
Sweden joined NATO on March 7th, which was the day of the address was on March 7th. He said that the U.S. and NATO need to stand up to Russia. He said, we'll not bow down or walk away from Russia. So, I mean, I don't know. But the other thing he did is several times he brought up January 6th.
Which I mean,
the attack on the Capitol. Well, he's blaming all that on Trump, whereas Trump, I'm not going to say he didn't know about it or didn't have anything to do with it, but he's not the one who planned it.
He didn't plan it, but it's like he didn't see this happening, and he went, this isn't right. Why are you guys doing it? He said nothing.
No, he did. Eventually he did say, stand down. But once he saw the actual violence that was happening, he said, stand down. I
never saw that, ever.
Well, he
not
did.
Not a tweet, not a peep from him.
He did. I mean, if I could, I don't have the time right now, but if I could find it, I may do that. But Biden said America won that night and democracy prevailed. I don't know how America won that night. I think it was a bad situation.
I think America. I don't know what he meant by that, but what I want to think he meant by that was like they didn't really destroy any. No, they destroyed a lot of stuff in the Capitol, but
Well, not a lot. I mean, I'm just glad that there were not people there. You know what I mean? I'm I think, honestly, I think if Nancy Pelosi had been in her office, I think they would have killed her. They were that, what's the word I want here? They had craziness in their mind. I mean, they would have either killed her or taken her out and held her hostage or something like that. I mean, I think it would have been a bad scene. He also said, you can't only love your country when you win. But here's the thing, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. I know you're not a Democrat, you're not a Republican, and I understand that. But didn't the Democrats whine and cry when Hillary lost the election? I mean, I don't know if you remember this. There were scenes, colleges had safe places for people to go and just cry because she lost. I mean, that was when I say a sad time for our country, not sad because Trump won, sad because of how the Democrats reacted to Trump winning. That's what was sad, man. I mean, that was despicable.
To be fair, there was a lot of talks with Trump about rights getting taken away. Guess what? Rights were taken away in several states.
Such as what? Give me an example of a right being taken away.
Let's talk about Florida here for a second.
Okay, let's talk about Florida.
The Don't Say Gay bill. People are like, but that's only for education system. No, it wasn't. For a while, they banned anything that had to do with being gay. They banned anything that had to do with being trans. And that only happened after Trump took office.
Do you realize that more states allowed gay marriages after Trump took office than before?
No, I know, but like, it's not a coincidence that as soon as Trump took office, Ohio started banning that shit. Sorry, Ohio started banning that. Florida started banning it. All the Confederate states started banning it. That's not a coincidence.
Well, because the main reason, especially when you say the southern states, you're talking about the Southern Baptist Convention, who, yes, they are against gay marriage. They're against, I don't want to say gay rights, but...
No, you can say gay rights. They are.
Well, but I mean, they're against stuff like that because they believe that the Bible speaks against it.
Which it doesn't, but...
It does.
No, the current day, the Bible that was originally written...
The King James Bible, and that's what the Southern Baptists go by.
Yeah,
their Bible is against
That's a stupid Bible, though.
Well, you can't...
Fair.
I mean, that's the original one written. I mean,
No,
if you believe in the Bible... Huh?
It wasn't. The original Bible that was written was actually written in Hebrew, and it said nothing about gay rights. The original thing in Hebrew said, "Man shall not lie with child as he does a woman." That scripture was talking about pedophilia, not gay rape.
Well,
Because when it was written, homosexuality was not a word.
well, the problem is, he blamed the overturn of Roe versus Wade on Trump, which Trump did have a lot to do with that, but it still came down to the Supreme Court's decision. They're the ones that voted to overturn it, okay?
Well, also think about this. If Trump didn't get into office, I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court wouldn't have been majority.
Are you saying that he influenced them?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, he may have.
But what I'm saying is, like, let's just say Hillary did win 2016. There wouldn't have been as many Republicans in the House, I don't think, or in the Supreme Court.
Well, I don't.
I truly believe
I think that Trump only appointed one Chief Justice to the Supreme Court. Okay, so everybody was there who was there, and I think that did Ginsburg, did she die during?
She died during Trump's presidency.
Okay, so I think that's
Towards the end of Trump's presidency.
I think that's the only one he appointed. And I mean, whenever you're a president, you get to appoint to the Supreme Court. I mean, that's a monumental moment. Okay, but because of that, Alabama did this thing of
The IVF.
yeah, the IVF, and I mean, they're saying
You know what's so bad about that? Even some Republicans are like, "Whoa, hang on."
But they voted. They changed the laws, man. UAB, one of the biggest medical centers in the country, stopped IVF treatments. Biden had a lady stand up who's from Texas. Her first child was born using IVF, and she lost that child during pregnancy, so she wanted to do it again, but now she has to go out of state because they changed their laws. She has to go out of state to a state that still allows it. But, could you imagine being a doctor and something happened with the with the embryo or something, and you could be tried for murder? That's what they're saying. They're saying that embryo is a life, and you could be tried for murder if something happens to it, man. That's I can understand why people aren't doing it. It's just a huge liability.
It's really bad when when your own party says, "Yo,
yeah,
that's messed up."
well, Biden said, I mean, and I quote, "We need to fight the national ban on reproductive freedoms, and if reelected, I will restore Roe versus Wade." Now,
He could try.
he could try, but it's still up to the Supreme Court.
I think if he gets reelected, there might also be. I mean, there might be more Democrats because a lot of the Supreme Court members are on their way out from the Republican side, at least.
Well, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of older. There's like 2 or 3 that are up there in age, and I don't know what their political stance is. But I mean, it's fairly young. I want to say, I think most of them are like 60 or younger. That's on there now.
I mean, they could die from anything. So.
I don't know. I want to bring one thing up. You see, we're wearing headphones. Normally, I can't wear headphones when I talk because the latency or the delay makes me sound like I'm talking like a drunken bastard. And I noticed this. I was doing a Zoom interview with somebody a couple years ago, and I actually had to stop it because I couldn't air it. It wasn't live. It was recording, but it sounded like I was inebriated. I mean, big time. But I got this new interface here, the Focusrite. What's it? The 18i8?
I think, yeah, 18i8.
And there's zero latency, so I'm able to talk to you real time, and I hear it real time. And Sigma over there is talking, and I hear it real time, so there's no delay. And that's, I mean, that right there was worth the price of it. Okay, back to this. Let's see. He also blamed the COVID-19 crisis on Trump.
Which, I mean, fair? Like,
well,
I'm 50-50 on that.
Well, I mean, Trump didn't really, I mean, first of all, he didn't believe that it was an actual thing at first. Okay, he didn't believe that this was a crisis, because he didn't trust anything coming out of China. And, he called it, what it was, a China flu. But here's the thing. We caught COVID here, Mackenzie and I, and his mother and his grandmother. I mean, we were diagnosed, the test was done on, I want to say, December 15th. So here we are, COVID's supposed to be leaving, and we catch COVID. And fortunately, Sigma didn't really exert many symptoms. He never felt bad.
I never did.
And his mom and I mean, we were out for the count, man. We were down hard. But then we also got whooping cough, pneumonia, bronchitis.
Just hit with everything in the book.
Exactly, everything. And my brother said, well, I heard that, this round of COVID's not that bad. Tell that to my body. Because, I mean, it was rough, man. I mean, it was rough. I mean, his mother and I were borderline going to the hospital. And, I didn't want to do that because the people you hear that go to the hospital don't come back.
Not all the time.
Not all the time, but it happened a lot. So, I didn't want to go to the hospital.
Didn't want to take that risk.
Nope. So we fought it out here. I mean, there's not much you can do except treat. I mean, I couldn't take the medicine. I can't remember what the name of it is because it interacted with most of the medications that I'm taking. And the doctor said, you just got to kind of treat it like the flu and drink lots of fluids and, stay hydrated. And that's what we did. I mean, we didn't eat. It was just tough. And Mackenzie, bless his heart, and we're thankful. He did a lot for us, getting us, keeping us in fluids and doing whatever we needed to do because it was hard. I mean, it was definitely hard. But one thing that Biden said, he said, this is his quote, "The vaccine saved us from COVID and is now being used to fight cancer." I talked to my brother who's in cancer research, and I asked him point blank, is this true? And his answer simply, no. The technology to develop the vaccine may be being used to help fight cancer, but the vaccine itself has nothing to do with cancer. I mean, it's apples and oranges. You can't do that. Let's see, what else did Biden say? He said inflation's only at 3%.
Did he forget another 3? Or
some things may have come down to 3, but vaccines. But inflation, let's look at gas prices. Were like $1.99 when he took office. Now I think the average is like $3.99 or $3.89. That's almost a 33% increase. Now, I know that he's jacking the price of gas up just so people want to rely and start getting electric cars and hybrids and stuff like that. We had to take an Uber the other day, and that was a Lincoln Continental, or I don't know if it was Continental, but it was a Lincoln car, and it was a hybrid, and we thought we were going to get stranded because he went to go start it, and it wouldn't start. And he's like, oh, this happened last week. It's cost him $1,000 to fix and blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting there, I'm like, just start the damn thing. I don't care what it costs, just start it. But he got it started. He got it going. But he said he likes it because he's, he said the energy cost, he doesn't have to charge it very often because he's getting a charge as the wheels rotate and stuff like that, and he only uses like, what do you say, 14 gallons of gas a month or something like that?
Which isn't bad.
That's pretty good.
I think, honestly, by the year, I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to be wrong, because we're halfway there. By the year 2077, we're going to be seeing more electric cars than gas cars.
Well, 2077, I don't know what you mean by we're halfway there. What do you mean by that?
By halfway to 27. Not halfway, quarter way there.
Right, we're a quarter. Well, actually, we're about almost a third of the way there. But, I mean, Biden wanted that to happen during his presidency, during his first term. He wanted to make the manufacturing of combustion engine cars illegal, where people could only, new cars would only be electric cars.
I think as soon as, like, let's just say we got rid of normal car. People are talking about how expensive electric cars are now. It's like, I think the price will go down, because then they'll realize, because the electric car companies will realize, no one's going to be able to buy our cars.
Well,
and people need cars.
But you have to factor in a lot of things, okay? You have to get a charging unit in your home, okay? The installation of that costs thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, that's a lot of, from what I understand, a lot of electric car companies are including that. Well, they're jacking the price up of the car, but they're including that in the price. Okay, now if that's the case, okay, because basically you're financing it. You don't have to, drop $5,000 just like that. But I don't know. I
think you want to know who was the first person to make electric cars? Like full electric.
It was a Tesla.
It was Tesla. I find it sad that other companies are doing electric cars better than Tesla.
Well, I mean, think about this. Tesla took an idea and ran with it. I mean, just because you're the first person to do something doesn't mean you're going to be the best person to do it.
True. Remember the Wright brothers.
Well, the Wright brothers, I mean, do you not think that the chair, just a chair, isn't better than the first person who invented a chair?
I think, Hyundai, they just released a line of luxury cars that are electric.
Well, don't you think that Lincoln is a luxury car?
Well, I mean,
I didn't even know Lincoln was making hybrids or anything like that.
I knew they were making hybrids. I mean, I've heard they're starting to go full electric now, but Hyundai just released a sports car.
Yeah, Hyundai and Kia too. I mean, these are cars that, 10 years ago, they were considered disposable cars, but they're actually coming out with some decent vehicles. I mean, I love the Kia Telluride. I think that I just, every time when Mom and I were driving and we'd see that car, I mean, I would comment on it because I think it's a fantastic car.
I think we're going to start seeing more companies like Ford and Chevy go that route.
Well, who was it that first came out with the Prius? Was that Toyota?
I think so.
And, of course, that wasn't all electric. It was a hybrid. But, every time I think of the Prius, I think of Brian on Family Guy because he drove the Prius. But let's see what else is going on. He wants to put a cap on insulin at $35 a month. He says that's too high, but the drug company's got to make some money. He said it costs $10 to make insulin, and they're charging, hundreds. If he does that, that'll help.
Yeah.
And that's out of pocket. That's for even people with no insurance. But he wants to put a cap on $2,000 a month for medications. Well, no, I can't. I don't know. I didn't catch if he said $2,000 a month or $2,000 a year out of pocket. I'm not sure which one that I don't know. But $2,000 a month is a lot when you're on a fixed income. Okay, most people who are collecting Social Security are collecting anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 a month already. So think about that. That's saying your whole check will go to that. So he must be. It has to be a year. I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, I think he's going with a year.
So what else? Well, I was in the hospital for a couple days this week.
Yeah.
I went in my legs and my feet got really swollen. And when I say they're really swollen, you couldn't even define my knee. It looked like just a grapefruit underneath my knee. My thighs, my thighs were fine. But my calves, my shins, couldn't see my shin bone. I mean, it was so painful. And I've never had this like that before. It felt like my legs were going to split open. So I went. They did a few tests. They ran the cardiac tests and said that, actually my heart, this is weird. The last echo I had, my refraction rate was like 30%, which is really, it's kind of low. It's supposed to be above 55% as far as the percentage, okay? This time it was 45%. So it's better than the last echo I had. I was expecting it to be worse. You're saying, hey, your congestive heart failure is worse. So, that causes fluids because your heart's not strong enough to pump the fluid from your lower extremities. I really thought that's what I was going to run into. Huh. But I didn't. They pumped me full of Lasix IV, and I peed a lot. I would drink one of these bottles of water this size. Let me see where you at. This size, which is 237 mils. I would drink one of those about every hour or two. But every hour or two, I would pee out about a liter. So that's how much fluid I was losing.
About probably 2 liters.
How many mils are each one of those? They're 16.9 ounces.
500.
Yeah, so two of those bottles of water, I was peeing out. So I was losing a lot of fluid, huh?
By just drinking that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Lasix does. Surprisingly, my electrolytes never dropped. I was expecting my potassium, my sodium, my calcium to drop because normally when you're on a diuretic, and that's what Lasix is, normally it makes your kidneys work overtime. So not only do you lose fluid, in that extra fluid, you lose electrolytes. But those stayed steady. I mean, right down the line, right down the middle. But so I lost, I think 12 pounds was I in there 3 days? I lost 12 pounds. Yeah. And so that was all water weight. I mean, that was all fluid out of my legs. You can actually see my kneecap now. So that's a bonus. I mean, they treated me well. They ran Doppler and ultrasound and Doppler on my legs just to make sure I didn't have a blood clot, and that's what was causing the fluid retention. But all that came back negative. So I went in on Tuesday and came home on Thursday. So it was a good stay. The food, I showed Mackenzie, I sent him a picture of the side salad I got. That was the biggest side salad I've ever seen in my life. It was the size of a full-blown chef salad. It had ham and turkey and eggs and everything in it. A side salad now. So I ate as much as I could of it. It was better than a meatloaf that was polluted with onions. Meatloaf had good flavor, but how I am with onions, I don't like to bite into them. So Alec Baldwin is back in the news.
Yeah, but can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break. Now, here's the thing. He could have walked away from the Rush shooting with no more than a slap on the wrist if he would have got back to him. He was offered a plea deal where he would do no jail time, okay? And they gave him until, it was issued on the beginning of October last year, and he had until the 27th to reply and respond. Well, on the 17th, they repealed it. So now he has an indictment from the grand jury. He's going to go to trial for manslaughter. All right. Now, the what do they call it? The armorer who's in charge of all the weapons on set. She went to trial. Her name was Hannah Gutierrez Reed, and she was just convicted of inventory manslaughter. I got pictures of this up here. There's a picture, Reed. She was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, and I don't remember what her sentence was, but she's doing a couple years for it. I think it's 4 years. But because she got convicted of manslaughter, it doesn't bode well for him because he could get the same, the same sentence.
He's probably going to get more. Well, he might get more because he's the one who actually...
He actually pulled the trigger. Well, he's saying he didn't even pull the trigger. It fired on its own.
I mean, if you know how a gun works, that's not how a gun works.
Exactly.
I mean, I can see how he was squeezing it a little, but not all the way, like trigger control, and it going off. I can see that. But all the way just like... the final thing is Helena, what's her name? Helena Hutchins, she's dead as a result of a gun that he was holding. Yeah.
Okay, now whether there was a bullet or a slug in there or whatever, his thing is he says that, she said it was a cold gun or wasn't loaded. They have a hot gun and a cold gun, but one of the things is you learn, and this is what he said, and anybody that makes movies says, you never point a gun at anybody. When they film any scenes, the gun is never pointing right at somebody. It's aiming off to the side or somewhere not even near them. And it hit her, and it hit who was the other one? I can't remember, but it hit him too. And it's just crazy, man. It's simply insane that this is happening. Let's see, this says he was reportedly offered a plea deal that was identical to the petty misdemeanor deal accepted by Dave Halls. Halls, who served as the first assistant director at the time of the shooting that resulted in the death of Hutchins, received 6 months of unsupervised probation, a $500 fine, and 24 hours of community service, and a mandatory firearm safety class. And if Baldwin would have responded before the 17th, that's what he would have received. But they pulled it off the table for whatever reason, and nobody knows why. That the prosecutors pulled that off the table. Oh, here it is. He was offered a deal on October 5th and given to October 27th to decide. But prosecutors allegedly took the deal away on October 17th and informed Baldwin's team that they were going forward with the grand jury. So it's unclear what changed in that short window. But Baldwin has Alex Spiro, and they filed to get the case dismissed Thursday, claiming the DA's office rigged the grand jury against Alec, pointing to the biased witnesses and their alleged omission of relevant evidence that undermined the case against Baldwin. That's kind of a severe allegation against a grand jury.
Basically, after you said that, what I just heard was a big old nothing burger. What they could
Well, Hannah was found, the armorer was found guilty and was quickly booked into the Santa Fe County Adult Detention Facility. Let's see, it says Hannah was the armorer on Rust's movie set when Alec Baldwin shot Helena with a prop gun loaded with live ammunition during the scene. See, here's the other thing, is a movie set is not supposed to have any live ammunition on the set.
They usually just have blanks nowadays.
Well, no, not usually. That's the rule. That's the law. But apparently they had taken this gun out for target practice using live ammunition because they were in the middle of the desert, blah, blah, blah. So nobody knows who brought in this live ammunition or how it got mixed in with other ammunition. Because, it was said that she put a blank, but Alec Baldwin said he thought nothing was in the gun because it was a cold gun. Even if it's a blank, they say hot gun. But I'm not sure. She was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, but she was found not guilty of evidence tampering. But she blamed the accident on her being overworked by the production, and her legal team insists that Hannah's fatal shooting wasn't on Hannah at all. I mean, she's the armorer. She's the one in charge of this. I mean, apparently the people did walk off the set because of, it just being a bad set to work on.
I mean, that's the question. Did she know about the live ammunition? Because if she didn't know about the live ammunition, she could have thought she was loading blanks too.
Well, if she's the armorer, okay, if these people took this gun out for target practice, she's the one with the key where it's locked up, because all the stuff's locked up every night, whatever. She's the only one with the key. So I would have to say, yes, she knew about it. But I'm not sure. Her sentencing date has not been set, but she's facing up to 18 months in prison. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think Alec Baldwin is responsible in some way because he had to be pointing the gun at her to hit her in the chest and kill her. I mean, and all these people, actors, every movie they make, they have to take a gun safety course that says, don't point it at anybody that you don't intend to kill. I mean, that's the rule with any gun safety. That's what they say. You don't point a gun at anybody unless you intend to kill them. I don't know. I just think that's crazy. So, what about Bigfoot? Yay or nay?
The age-old question. I think he could exist.
Well, I've been watching a lot of videos lately, and there was an outdoor music festival, and they're just filming these people in the crowd, right? And there's a big creature like just swinging from the trees in the back, and what it looked like was like a baby. It didn't even look like a gorilla, like a baby chimp or something like that, or orangutan, something like that. And then on the ground there was a much bigger one, so they're thinking that could have been a baby Bigfoot. I mean, I think it's possible that these, I guess, giant apes that you could call them, I think it's possible they could exist. People say, well, if they exist, why come we didn't see more of them? There's been a lot of footage. A lot of people say they have.
There's been a lot of, it's like, I think they're only local to one region, which is why we're not.
This isn't true anymore. The latest videos were found in Florida. Yes, sir, Bob. So either they caught a plane or something. But speaking of planes, I got to get off Bigfoot for a second. What is happening to Boeing planes here lately? Have you heard the latest? A piece of the side or bottom came off during flight. Exposed the whole underside of the plane. I mean, let's see, what was it? A week or so ago, they had the door flew off. Wheels have fallen off. What is going on with the planes these days, man? I mean, nobody's got hurt or anything like that and made a safe landing. It was a flight from, San Francisco to Denver, and it had to get routed to Portland.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I just saw this in the news today. And I mean, I don't know if it's just Boeing planes that's under scrutiny right now or what's going on, but something, I mean, they're supposed to inspect these planes periodically.
Yeah.
I would think they should inspect them more periodically than what they are, but I don't know. I mean, something's going on that just doesn't make sense. So what's going on in your world? What's happening?
I have not seen anything from the VTubing world, but I have seen stuff in the music world.
Okay.
Blue Ridge Rock Festival. Now, if you don't know Blue Ridge and you're in the music scene, how couldn't you? Because there's a lot of talk about it. Was a festival that is under scrutiny right now.
Okay.
Last year, according to all the bands that went and tour managers, it was horrible. The worst year for a rock festival.
Okay.
And basically the way to that I heard it got put, the way it was I heard about it was apparently there was a lot of trash around in the entire venue. And
okay.
I heard about it from a tour manager. I watch a tour manager or a tour tech online on YouTube, and he said there was trash everywhere. There was no AC in the dressing room. It took about an hour just to get their stuff loaded onto stage. And he said no one knew what they were doing. It seemed like everyone was confused about what they were doing. And according to other people, every single stagehand walked off because of poor conditions.
Walked off because of poor conditions.
They walked out of the venue.
Okay.
I heard from one that said that was their first festival ever, and they walked off after one day.
And I can only imagine what the porta potty situation was.
If
everything else is that bad,
and
I can only imagine what that would be like.
Tank Tech, who I watched, he put it this way to the promoter, to his face: "This is the most unorganized, unprofessional, unsafe festival I have ever been to." And he has been in the industry for at least 7 years now.
Well, I will say this. The only festival like that I've gone to was Warped Tour that we went to. Now, I think that Warped Tour was probably, I can't really compare. I mean, I've been to other music festivals. I went to a country music festival and a rock music festival, but, of that nature, I mean, it went pretty well. I think it was organized fairly well. I mean, bands were on stage and off stage. The next band on, setup was fairly quick. It would have done a lot better if they didn't get a freak thunder shower in the middle of the day.
Yeah, that happened the next year I went too. So
and it'd have been better if I didn't get burnt to a crisp.
Well, that's just Georgia.
Well, that's Georgia. I made the mistake of not putting any sunscreen on, had shorts on. I mean, I was in a wheelchair, and I had my legs were burnt. I mean, I had bad second-degree burns.
Apparently, they're trying to. Blue Ridge Rock Festival is trying to sell 2024 festival passes after that disaster, and after they put out a statement basically saying we don't. They blame the weather.
Blame the weather.
And there was no weather to be seen at all for those 3 days. Or they actually, from what there was weather coming in after the band stopped playing. And Tank said this, that it may have been a problem, but it was not the problem. And they're doing another lineup, and they haven't. They actually, in the recent statement, they have stopped talking about refunds and said, what was their statement? What was it? It was I don't actually know what it was. I can't remember, but they basically stopped saying the word refund.
Okay, not to change the subject, but you notice anything?
Did you stop? Kinda. You kind of stopped it.
Kinda. I did stop it.
I still hear it a little bit.
I don't hear it at all.
Oh, no one. Nope. There you go.
I don't hear it at all. So, yay me. I fixed it.
What did you do?
I'm just messing with the SCOM over here. Change the compression rating a little bit, and hey, woohoo. Yay me.
Here, basically, the statement said, "We are sorry for the delay in providing a clear resolution for 2023's partial cancellation. We notice that frustrations are continuing to compound and fans deserve more communication and information from us. It has pained us immensely that we have not been able to be permitted to do so thus far." By who? For the first...
By themselves. I mean, who are they governed by?
I don't know. For the first time, we have recently been given permission to issue this more complete statement. Again, by who? Our event had the benefit of festival interruption and abandonment insurance. Receiving our coverage for a claim this magnitude takes considerable amount of time. The firms representing the festival expect a response to the claim in the first quarter of 2024 or shortly thereafter. After a response from the insurance companies, we will update you all and begin the process of providing complete resolutions for everyone. Where is it? Hang on. Where? What? Our insurance policy has language restricting our public announcements until this claim is settled. This is the reason we have largely been signed. No. It has been incredibly difficult to not to publicize evidence to refute that many reports surrounding the festival. However, we are unwilling to jeopardize the recovery of the policy of the fans, the prejudice of our rights, or prejudice of the insurance carrier's rights. We eagerly await the moment we can provide full transparency. The unanticipated, sudden, and extraordinary storms which put fans, crews, and the bands and the event in great danger were incredibly unseen. What storm? There were clear skies that entire day.
I can't comment on that because obviously I don't know anything about it. So
the damage caused by these storms have yet to be fully revealed. Despite the time this process has taken, we have not stopped working diligently on your behalf. The moment we have the authority, we will address everything in full. This has been brutal for all of us. We continue to work tirelessly to ensure a timely resolution and taking every step possible on our end to shorten the process. Before I finish this, notice one key word they're using.
What?
They're not using refund.
No,
they're using resolution.
Well, that's got to be the only resolution.
That if it's not, then
or give those people free tickets for next year or free and all access passes. I mean, the highest thing they can do. If they're not going to give a refund, I mean, they have to do something like that.
We fully understand the animosity that many of you have towards the situation. There is so much more to the story than what has come to light. A special thank you to all of those who have continued to support us during these hard times. Your patience and grace has been a testament to the passionate community that surrounds this event and built it to the largest on the continent. It goes without saying we would be nothing without each and every single one of you.
How long has this been going on, this music festival?
If I'm not mistaken, since hang on, Blue Ridge Rock Festival, I want to say a few years, almost not a decade. Start. Why don't I just go to their official website? Because I don't know. This is the first I have ever heard about this. Venue information. It doesn't say, but this isn't the first time they've been under scrutiny. This is actually the second time it has been publicized because apparently there has been lawsuits dating back to 2022.
Okay, so that's kind of hot.
Just a little.
All right, that's still a little hot. Let's turn down the output a little bit.
And apparently they had something going on with them in 2006. I don't know. Did Blue Ridge.
So what was the answer to my question? How long has this been?
It doesn't say.
You're saying something back to 2006.
Yeah, there was something going on back in 2006, and then I don't know, because I remember reading about...
I mean, that's 18 years. That's a long time. You'd think they would get it right by now. I mean...
Yeah, there was a lawsuit. Let's see. If this thing would love to load, that would be nice. Dozens of bartenders and barbacks from 2021 and 2022 have filed a lawsuit. So we know they
pertaining to what?
Pretty much the same thing that the stagehands have been going through. Poor management, like lack of
Communication, lack of communication.
Unpaid the plaintiffs are demanding their unpaid wages, tips, and liquidated damages.
So I'm sure they're referring to tips that were taken in on credit cards, because cash tips, of course, most places like that don't take cash that much.
Not anymore. Not really.
Right. So,
And I know they during last year there was no water provided to anyone. Well, okay, to the fans there were, but the water line was like this long, to where and the bottles were about it was about like,
they didn't have, like, they had a warp toward the rehydration stations.
they did not have those.
Yeah, those are good. The only downside to those, though, is the water was warm. And I guess it would have, I mean, it would have taken a lot of electricity to keep, cool water and chilled water through that. And to buy a bottle of water, everything at the venue was $7.
$7 on like,
You want a beer? $7. Can I get fries? $7.
$7.
How about a bottle of water? $7. Can I get a soda? $7. It was crazy.
But obviously the techie that I watched, the tech that I watched, he was for a band with Electric Callboy. It's their like a EDM metalcore band, and he went to the production managers and he said what they would have. He said, we need power, we need this, we need that, we need this. So they're like, yeah, we can provide that. We can provide that. They pull up to the venue, and he said it took them 30 minutes just to get them a flatbed to load their stuff to the stage. It took them 30 minutes. Then there was a signing that was supposed to happen at like 5 something, and they were supposed to be going on stage at 6. So they said, "Can we move it to 3:30?" Yeah, sure. Apparently that was not told to anyone, to the other people who were supposed to sign it at 3:30, making it an awkward situation.
Sure.
And so they're like, okay. They go on stage, they play. They don't have power. They don't have enough power to run everything they need, which is what they said they were going to get. And this guy, he started yelling at the stagehand, and he immediately apologized because he knew it wasn't the stagehand's fault. He was just not told this information. Sure. And luckily a band allowed them to hook off of their power, because I think they had like a separate generator or something, and they played the show. Probably
showed up with a Generac 50 watt,
Probably. And
I mean, that wouldn't even run a house, let alone a rock show. I mean, geez.
And there was no food for the bands. The band,
were they supposed to have catering?
Yes. They outside, the Electric Callboy spent most of their time outside of the green room.
Why is that?
No AC in 115 degree weather. No AC.
Excuse me.
And they said they provide a fan. No fan showed up for about an hour.
Well, in a situation like that, if it's 150 degrees, well, I wasn't 150 degrees. I mean, it was probably in the hundreds outside.
It was.
And, probably some humidity, but a fan wouldn't really do squat except move around hot air.
It would help a little. They were sitting under shade.
You'd have to put like a bucket of ice in front of the fan, and that would blow cool air. But other than that,
there's a picture of a trash can with just a pile of trash overflowing.
Yeah, that's
and luckily catering,
it just sounds like, I mean, somebody dropped the ball. They probably had somebody new in the logistics that just didn't account for everything. I mean, that's really the only thing that could happen with something like that.
A quote that I love that he said, that the guy who was talking about this said, when he talked to the promoter, when he said, yeah, this is the most unprofessional, unorganized thing I've ever been to, the promoter was just like, oh, I've sunk millions into this thing to make it right. He said, you can't just throw money at something and expect it to work.
No, you got to have the right people doing the right jobs.
And apparently, these people worked on other amazing festivals.
Well, it almost sounds like it was micromanaged. And these other people who work on all these other festivals should have been allowed to use their expertise and get the job done.
Well, they weren't. They could use their expertise, but no one told them what was going on. No one. And this man, he has been sober for, to my knowledge, 3 years now. That day nearly made him quit.
Well,
he actually started smoking a cigarette and said it was the worst thing he had, but it was better than quitting sobriety.
Well,
he almost, and it's like,
and that's a shame too that things get that bad in nature that, you know, that somebody wants to default to giving up their sobriety, that I'm sure they worked very hard for.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Slipknot was there. And
Slipknot.
And I believe they provided catering to everyone.
I'll be anxious to watch the. When did this happen?
This was last year.
I'm gonna find out. Do you have like the date? Because I want to see the Osbournes podcast and see if Kelly Osbourne said anything about it. Since she's dating, what's his name, Sid from Slipknot.
Yeah.
And actually, I say dating. Actually, has a child with him. All right. Well, we're about an hour and 5 minutes into this, so you know what time it is.
Oh yeah.
Would you rather?
Would you rather?
It is time for Would You Rather.
Would you rather?
Well, that's weird. No, I mean, I don't know why the background has a picture of Alec Baldwin on it.
Huh?
Are they all like that? Would you rather be remembered in history books doing something terrible or be completely forgotten after you die?
See, that's like the quote from Cyberpunk. Would you rather be Miss Nobody or go out in the blaze of glory?
Well,
I don't know.
what's your answer?
I'd probably have to be nobody.
I mean,
I'd rather not be known for.
I mean, everybody wants to be remembered for something, you know, and it's like, you know, maybe I want to go out in the blaze of glory, right? I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't know, man. We'll just have to. So your answer is you want to be remembered or not remembered at all. That's your thing, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I want to go out doing something terrible, so I'm remembered infamously.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2: would you rather be a famous artist or a famous athlete?
Artist.
See, I don't know what they mean by artist.
Yeah.
You know, because if it's an artist as far as somebody who sculpts or somebody who, you know, paints or something like that, you're not famous till after you die, for the most part. But a famous athlete, you're here in the now. I think I'd rather be a famous athlete. That's, you know, what's your answer?
Artist.
You said artist?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Because I'm just going to go the full, you know.
That's 2 that we've disagreed on. We normally have the same answer. That's
Well,
two.
like, I'm going with the full picture of artist, not like.
You're right, like musician being an
Yeah.
artist. Okay, I can see that. Number 3, would you rather be more attractive or more intelligent?
That's.
I'm going to say more intelligent.
Yeah.
Because if you're more intelligent, you're going to know how to make yourself more attractive.
Exactly.
You know, and you know me, I'm all about learning stuff anyway. So I'd love to be more intelligent.
Right.
All right. So we're agreeing on that?
We're agreeing on that one.
All right. So would you rather let a spider climb over you or let a snake slither across you?
Snake.
Really?
Yes.
Well, being that I've already had spiders crawling over me, I used to own a tarantula, and that was my buddy.
Well, you're not arachnophobic, so.
I'm not arachnophobic, so I'm going to have to say I'd rather let a spider climb over me. I mean, I'm not afraid of snakes either, though. So,
Yeah.
well, I mean, poisonous ones, but everybody should be afraid of poisonous snakes. All right, number 5. Would you rather never age or never have to worry about money?
Never have to worry about money.
Why?
Because it's just like never aging is gonna get boring after a while.
I would think so too. I mean, that means you're going to live forever. And I don't think I want to. That was a question we had a couple weeks ago. I don't think I want to live forever. But you know what? Living forever would be interesting.
It would be ended because no, I think.
You know, you could say, man, I remember this. I remember when a computer can fit inside of your smartphone, and now they got computers inside your brain. I mean, you'd be able to see the changes just in technology.
I mean, and to be fair, if you're that old, you probably have a lot of money anyway because you're saving up money.
Yep. You're right. All right.
So I'd probably go with never age.
Well, I
Just to see
I think I just never have to worry about money because I've never been in a position where I can do or buy or do whatever I want. And I would love to be in that position. So
I would, but like again, with the never aging thing, you're going to make a lot of money.
All right. Well, that was Would You Rather. All right, everybody. We're back on film on camera now, and I hope you enjoyed the show. We kind of work hard to bring you a live show. It takes a lot, and we figured out some stuff. I've solved some. You probably heard the clicking noises coming from the microphones earlier, and I've solved that. So now I wish we could just start over, but we're not gonna. But hope you guys enjoy the video, enjoy the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell so you know when our content comes out. But it comes out usually every Saturday at 8 o'clock, except for 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake on my part. I kind of got crazy deleting files and deleted our video. And I was not about to record it. We did that once on a Saturday. And the pressure of getting it out at 8 o'clock, I actually got it out. It was about 20 minutes late when I actually uploaded it. But I'm not going to go through that again. Yeah, I'd almost rather do live shows because you really don't have to worry about editing. But anyway, join us next week for Totem Pole. And if you have any questions or want us to discuss anything, throw it down in the comments. We'll read all the comments and try to answer them all. But for now, this is Penguin Speaks along with
Sigma.
Sigma saying, be somebody important. Be yourself. Peace out.